What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the 182 News YouTube page. Appreciate you checking out this video. What an exciting week in blink-182 land. Oh my God. Huge announcement on Monday that ended up being like 5 announcements. We've got the album title, the album release date, track list, artwork, what ended up being 2 songs, so a ton to hit on. And then yesterday, not only did we get One More Time, the lead single from it, we also got a second song, More Than You Know. I got a podcast out about it where I hit on really the excitement of the past couple weeks, along with initial reaction to both of the new songs. And I got to tell you, that was a tough pod to get through. I mean, I was like broken down crying at one point. So check that one out if you haven't yet. It's on the YouTube page. It's anywhere you can listen to podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. But I wanted to kind of break down the song a little bit more now that I've listened to it enough times to where I'm not like bawling. The song was called One More Time. We now know that the album is called that as well, and it launched alongside a new music video. So I think, like most of you, we've been edging for 11 months, just waiting to hear new Blink. We finally got it. I'm just so curious to hear what these three are going to sound like, working together again for the first time in a long time. And what we got was really just a beautiful tearjerker of a song. And I honestly can't think of a song that hit the entire fan base that hard, probably since like Home is Such a Lonely Place. Before that, maybe Adam's Song. But I think this one just hit so hard. I knew initially, the One More Time title in and of itself, I knew people right away were going to be like, oh, is this the last time they're together? Is this the last tour? Blah, blah, blah. It's not. They had a little trailer for an interview coming out with Zane Lowe that looks awesome. Can't wait to see that. And at the end of that, I was glad they hit on it. Tom said, no, it's not the last time. The reason it's called One More Time is because basically this is the last time that we're going to fuck this up as far as like breaking up and splitting apart and such. So I was glad to get that out of the way. It's not the last album, not the last tour, etc. But it was clear to me, because the album is named that and this song in general, that was kind of a recurring theme. And it was important enough to them that they wanted to name the album that. And they thought this song was the one to kind of launch it with. So I was stoked to hear the new song. When Travis was in an interview, I believe his daughter interviewed him like a month or 2 ago, and he was asked, what's the GOAT Blink song? Like, what's the best Blink song of all time? And he said, One More Time. So I've had high expectations for this leading up to it, and my God, it delivered. So it launched yesterday. I was in the YouTube chat just waiting for the countdown. I started getting nervous. It was pretty wild. And then right away at the beginning, we get that little acoustic intro, and it's dark and it's mellow, and it just sounds like a good old little Tom riff that's going on. It did kind of give me like Boxcar Racer vibes of back in the day, but it's just a gnarly little take on it. Tom comes in, from strangers into brothers, from brothers into strangers once again. Like, oh my gosh, like clearly he's talking about his relationship with Mark and his bandmates. I mean, from brothers to strangers. I mean, it's such a great way to put it, where it's like they had the best times together, like built this thing up so beautifully. And then you get to a point of where it's like, you don't even recognize your friend, which is crazy. It pans over to Mark. Mark comes in older, but nothing's different. Nothing's any different right now, feels the same. I wonder why. I just think that's such a cool kind of unique perspective of, we're all getting older. We're all growing up with the fan base, and yeah, your body might be getting up there, but a lot of times it still feels the same. You still feel the same inside your brain and inside your own headspace, I guess, on outlook on life or humor or whatever. And then he says, I wish they told us it shouldn't take a sickness or airplanes falling out the sky. So obviously that is alluding to Travis's plane crash, Mark's battle with cancer, which really kind of got them all back together and really had them hone in on, we're supposed to be together, working together. You're my brother. We shouldn't let this stuff tear us apart. But it's interesting in that, it does seem to take a catastrophe for Blink to get back together and functioning on the same page again. And I feel like right now they're just all in such a great place. And that's one of my key takeaways really from this tour and this era. It's like the friendship is real. Like they're in such a great place where they can joke around with each other, mess around with each other, bring ideas to the table. And I think we're already seeing it pour out on this album. Like it it looks and sounds so good. Everything's been so rad with this rollout thus far. Tom comes in with that high pitch, "Do I have to die to hear you miss me?" It's my terrible interpretation of it, but I love when Tom kind of hits that higher register. He does that sometimes. Great example is on Not Now, one of my favorite Blink songs, when he does that. But that's what Tom brings to the table. That's one of the beautiful things about Blink is Mark with the low, Tom coming in high, kind of that nasally. So I love to hear that. Do I have to die to hear you say goodbye? That's a heavy thing. I think a lot of people who are dealing with heavy thoughts, maybe don't even want to be here. You start to wonder, like, will anybody even miss me? Why do I have to die to get the love? And I hit on this in the podcast a little bit, but I do see that sometimes. It's like I'll see on social media somebody passed away and they're getting all this love the day after, and I'm like, gosh, why did we wait until they were gone to show them that much love? Why don't we start doing it while people are here? So I thought that was a pretty heavy line, and then it comes in with the one more time, one more time. And it's almost just kind of like, it's not haunting, but it's just kind of chill, and it's so catchy. Like even today, that's just kind of replaying in my head one more time. And then when they both come in, Mark and Tom together, "I miss you, took time, but I admit it, it still hurts even after all these years. And I know the next time ain't always gonna happen. I gotta say I love you while we're here." So it's one of those things that, I'm trying to implement that in my life a little bit more. Like, reach out to your friends, reach out to your homies, your family. Like, tell people you love them while you're here, because tomorrow's not always guaranteed. And, we've seen that even recently in Blinkland with the passing of Robert, Mark's bass tech. It's just wild. So, it shouldn't take a catastrophe or somebody dying to reach out to show them love or whatever. So that's kind of my interpretation of it. I think it's pretty clear that this song means a lot to them as a band. I think just the other day, Mark put this on his Mount Rushmore of Blink songs. So I think thematically, with them three getting back together and as much fun as they're having and rekindling their friendship, I think it's a very important Blink song. Travis has a spot singing at the end. I love how it kind of pans to him, and he's like, "One more time." And Travis has done, I think, background stuff, maybe some harmonies in the past, but to see him in a video, like getting a vocal part, is like, yes, go Travis. The video itself, I thought, was so well done. Like, this is what really tore me apart, like watching the video alongside it. It goes through all the different eras. And, I saw Warped 99, I saw First Date, Feeling This, all these different sets, and you're seeing them in current form, basically going back to those sets. They even did like the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, and I had a big smile when they had the big fuck sign behind them, stuff like that. So it was honestly just such a cool little flashback. I think part of what really just tore me apart, at the very end, they have that montage where it's showing flashbacks of them as kids, kids, all things considered, 25 years ago. And I think what really just tore me apart is like me seeing myself back then, and like us growing up with them, and how we're all so much older. And I thought it was just a super emotional moment for me. Like I said on my podcast, like I was trying to get that point across, and I was like, I can't even do this right now. I had to pause the pod. So I thought it was a super awesome song. Obviously, like to get that much emotion across to the entire fan base. I mean, there were so many people I saw on social media yesterday who were just tore apart from this song in a good way. We love this band a lot, and to see them back after all these years with Tom, to get new music, a new tour, a new album that's shaping up to be incredible. I'm just so happy for them. I'm so happy for them to be able to, rekindle their friendship and get back out there on tour and have fun together like it's the late 90s or early 2000s. And, for us as fans, to experience that again for, alongside them. So awesome time in Blinkland, really an exciting week. That track list, 17 songs. When I saw that, I'm like, let's go. This is going to be sick. I think it's going to cover a lot of bases. Even the 3 songs that we have, Edging's been out for some time, really more kind of alternative, super, super catchy. We've got One More Time, like tearjerker ballad. And then we have More Than You Know, which I was not expecting. Thankfully, we got it, because it was so funny. Like, I was right at a moment where I'm like, man, this song is just tearing me apart. And then I'm like, oh shit, we got another one that's an absolute banger. And for me, it was kind of like Blink's always there for me at the down times, and it's always there to like pick me right back up. So it almost like symbolized what Blink means to me and what it does for me personally, one song after another. So we've seen 3 different basses as far as the versatility in this album, and I think we're going to continue to see that. So super stoked for it. Curious to hear your thoughts on One More Time. Drop them below. Be sure to sub to the channel. Check out the pod if you want an hour and 10 minutes of excitement this week and some further thoughts. And I'll talk soon. Peace.